Hello everyone, and welcome back. Today we are going to talk about a financial instrument that has a bit of a reputation. It has been called a weapon of mass destruction. It was at the absolute epicenter of the 2008 global financial crisis. It made a few people billionaires while the rest of the world was burning. I'm talking, of course, about the credit default swap, or CDS. Now, if you look at the name, credit, default, swap, it sounds incredibly intimidating. It sounds like something only a mathematician in a basement should understand. But I promise you, by the end of this lecture, you will not only understand it, you'll be able to explain it to your friends. Let's start with the simplest concept possible. Forget Wall Street for a second. Let's talk about your car. You buy a car. You are worried that you might crash it, right? So what do? You buy insurance. You pay a monthly fee, a premium, to an insurance company like Geico or Allianz. If you drive safely and nothing happens, the insurance company keeps your money. But if you crash the car, the insurance company writes you a check to cover the damage. A credit default swap, at its most basic level, is exactly the same thing. It is insurance against a default. In the financial world, crashing the car translates to a company or a government failing to pay back its debts. Example 1. The safe investor. Let's look at our first concrete example. We're going to role play. Imagine there is a massive company called TechGiant Corporation. They want to build a new factory, so they borrow money by issuing bonds. Now, meet investor Alice. Alice is a pension fund manager. She wants to lend money to TechGiant because they pay good interest. She buys $10 million worth of TechGiant bonds. But Alice is nervous. She reads the news. She thinks TechGiant is doing okay now, but what if they go bankrupt in 3 years? I could lose my $10 million. Alice wants to sleep better at night. So she goes to a third party, let's say a big bank called Bank of Wall Street. Alice says, I will pay you a fee every year. Let's say $100,000. In exchange, if TechGiant goes bankrupt and doesn't pay me back my $10 million, you have to pay me. The bank says deal. Here is the breakdown of this transaction. The buyer, Alice, she buys protection. She pays a regular fee, which is called the spread or premium. The seller, Bank of Wall Street, they sell protection. They collect the fee and take on the risk. The reference entity, TechGiant, this is the company being bet on. Note that TechGiant is not involved in this deal. They might not even know it's happening. If TechGiant pays its debts, the bank keeps Alice's fees as profit. If TechGiant defaults, the bank pays Alice $10 million. Alice is hedged. She is safe. This is the original purpose of a CDS, hedging risk. Why it's called a swap in the speculation. So, why don't we just call it bond insurance? Why swap? Technically, it's because Alice is swapping the risk of default with the bank in exchange for cash flow. But there's a much more important distinction between CDS and regular insurance. And this is where things get wild. This brings us to example 2, the neighborhood fire. Let's go back to the car or house insurance analogy. In the real world, to buy fire insurance on a house, you generally need to own the house. This is called having an insurable interest. I cannot buy fire insurance on your house. Why? Because if I did, I might be tempted to burn your house down to collect the money. It's illegal. However, in the land of credit default swaps, you do not need to own the bond to buy the insurance. Let that sink in. Let's introduce speculator Bob. Bob does not own any bonds in TechGiant. He has zero investment in the company. But Bob does some research and thinks TechGiant is cooking their books. They're going to go bankrupt within a year. Bob goes to the Bank of Wall Street and says, I want to buy a CDS on TechGiant. The bank says, do you own the bonds? Bob says no. The bank says, I don't care. As long as you can pay the premiums, we have a deal. This is called a naked CDS. If TechGiant goes bankrupt, Bob, who lost nothing, suddenly gets paid $10 million. He essentially took out a massive bet that the company would fail. Now, imagine if 100 people all buy insurance on the same house. If the house burns down, the insurance company doesn't just pay the owner. They have to pay the owner plus 100 random people who bet on the fire. This turns the CDS from a safety tool into a massive casino. Example 3. The 2008 crisis. To truly understand the power and danger of the CDS, we have to talk about 2008. If you have seen the movie The Big Short, this will sound familiar. In the mid-2000s, the U.S. housing market was booming. Banks were bundling thousands of mortgages into bonds called MBS, which is mortgage-backed securities. Everyone thought these were safe because, historically, people always paid their mortgages. Enter the hedge fund managers, like Michael Burry. They looked at the data and saw that these mortgages were actually terrible, loans given to people with no jobs and no income. They knew the housing market was going to crash. But how do you profit from housing crash? You can't just sell a house you don't own. So they use credit default swaps. The reference entity is the mortgage bonds, which are bundles of home loans. The buyer is the hedge funds, which are the big short guys. They bought CDS protection on these bonds. The seller is giant insurance companies like AIG, which is American International Group. AIG looked at these mortgage bonds and thought, the U.S. housing market never crashes. This is free money. They sold billions and billions of dollars worth of CDS protection. They were collecting tiny premiums from the hedge funds, thinking they would never have to pay out. It was like picking up pennies in front of a steamroller. When the crash started in 2007 and 2008, people stopped paying their mortgages. The bonds became worthless. This was the default event. Suddenly, the hedge funds knocked on AIG's door and said, "Pay up." AIG owed billions of dollars of money they didn't have. Because AIG was insured by almost everyone in the financial system, if AIG went bankrupt, the whole world economy would collapse. This is why the U.S. government had to step in and bail out AIG with $180 billion of taxpayer money. The government essentially paid off the CDS bets to stop the system from imploding. This example illustrates the counterparty risk. Alice, the investor, thinks she is safe because she bought insurance from the bank. But if the bank issues too much insurance and goes broke, Alice's insurance is worthless. Pricing and the spread. Before we conclude, we need to touch briefly on how these things are priced. How do we know how much the insurance premium costs? We measure CDS prices in basis points. 100 basis points equals 1%. If you want to insure $10 million of debt and the CDS price is 100 basis points, you pay 1% of $10 million every year, $100,000. The price tells you how the market feels about a company's health. For safe companies such as Apple or Microsoft, the risk of default is low. The CDS might cost 10 or 20 basis points. It's cheap insurance. For risky companies like a struggling retailer, the risk is high. The CDS might cost 1,000 basis points, which is 10%. In this way, the CDS market acts like a thermometer for the financial health of companies and countries. When the CDS price for a country spikes, like Greece during the Euro crisis, it's a warning signal that investors are panicked. Conclusion, good or evil? So, is the credit default swap evil? It's easy to say yes after looking at 2008. But let's look at the nuance. The pros. Risk management. It allows banks to lend more money. If a bank can buy a CDS to protect a loan, they are more willing to lend to a new business. Price discovery. It gives us a very clear, real-time view of how risky a company is. The cons. Systemic risk. As we saw with AIG, it connects everyone. If one big insurer fails, everyone fails. Speculation. It allows people to root for failure. It creates a scenario where a company failing is more profitable for Wall Street than the company succeeding. Summary. To wrap up, remember 3 things. A CDS is just a fancy name for insurance against non-payment of debt. The buyer pays a recurring fee. The seller pays a lump sum if things go wrong. Unlike car insurance, you don't need to own the asset to insure it, allowing for massive speculation. The credit default swap is a powerful tool. Like a sharp knife, it can be used to prepare a meal, or it can be used to cause injury. It all depends on whose hands it is in. Thank you for listening, and see you next time.